Hi everybody, back. I hope you've all had a lovely half term and we're back. Here's Star Bear. Hello everyone at home. We're going to do some ball work skills today and a bit of running. So hopefully we'll work on our ball skills. Hopefully you've got someone at home you can work with. So I've got Mrs. Porter. I'm going to do the chest push first. So if I stand opposite, if you take a step back, yes, you're still on, Mrs. Porter. Remember, we're making that W shape with our thumbs down, hands behind this time, and we're going like that. Push, 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 chest push. Remember, you're trying to aim it to your partner's chest. We'll just keep doing it. You can't do too many of these. The more the better at home. Once you're really good at them, try and do a stand so you've got one foot in front of the other. Makes you a bit more solid. And you can practice both ways. That's our chest push. I think we're pretty good at that now. Okay, then if we remind you of the shoulder push, remember, shoulder throw, shoulder press from either shoulder. It's good to practice both. So Mrs. Porter and I will do a bit of both shoulders. Okay, remember the throw is as important as the catch. Really important. Okay. We're using both shoulders. Good. And then the third one we want to look at is the bounce pass. I don't want it to bounce too close to Mrs. Porter's feet because it might bounce up and hit her head, but I don't want to bounce it too far for me, otherwise it won't make it to her with one bounce and we only want it to bounce once. So we're just going to go like that. So if you notice when I'm throwing it down, it's not all the way up to my shoulders, but it's a similar type of pass that you would send from your shoulder. Okay? You can do that as many times as you want, and the more you do it, the better. If you can do it every day, even better. And then we'll just do a mixture. So now, mixture of chest push, shoulder press, and a bounce pass. Mix it up however you'd like to pass the ball. If you haven't got somebody you can work with at home, you can use a wall. But if you've got a parent that will spend a little bit of time with you, throwing and catching, that would be great. We've done quite a lot of bit of throwing and catching with the children in school, and it's in most sports. If you think of all the sports, that throwing and catching is in most sports. What we don't want is this pass. Some of you are still doing this pass, some of the children in school are still doing this pass. What happens is it goes really high, and if we were playing a match, somebody can come in, intercept that ball really easily. We want nice direct passes so that it stays with your team. Okay. We're just demonstrating for a short time today, but you can do this for ages outside in your garden. I've done a lot of bouncing, passing with my girls in the garden because they love netball. But it's useful for basketball, throwing and catching is in cricket, in rounders. Okay, now you can do that for longer, try and do it as many days as you can. Now we look at my clock on the floor, so we have a circle. I've done all the numbers facing you. If you haven't got cones at home, you can literally just write numbers onto flat pieces of paper and put them on the floor. So I'm going to get Mrs. Porter to stand in the middle. And what you can do is like a running activity first. So I'm going to say a number. So Mrs. Porter can't see all the numbers, but she knows that's number 1. So she might get it wrong to start with, but you know the numbers of the clock, that's number 1. And then she runs to that cone and back to the middle, trying to do a pivot turn like you would in netball. So 1, and then she's back to the middle. 7, 5, 3, 6,
Wrong one.
okay, 2, half the fun is finding the numbers, 8,
8. No, yes.
yes, and back, 4, 7, you can time each other. Mrs. Porter will do me a go now, you can do so many seconds each, but the more you do it, the more you know where they are, and in sport you have to think about things quickly, you have to turn direction quickly, you have to change where you are quickly, so it's just really good to think. 7, 5, 1, oh, 1, 6, 3, 8, 4, 7, 2, 6, 1. Okay, so you can do that at home, easily make those flat pieces of paper for yourself, and you can see that Mrs. Porter and I, and we're adults, we're finding it hard sometimes to know which one to go for. In sport, you've often got to think about more than one thing, not just running. You've got to run, tackle, get the ball, and then think about who you're passing the ball on to. So programming your brain to think about lots of different things is really good for you. Okay, what we're going to do next is I'm going to have the ball in the middle. Mrs. Porter's going to be around the outside of the cone. I'm going to give her a number. She's going to run to that number, and then she's going to obviously face in, and I'm going to give her a pass. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You can go around. Just move that slightly back. You can go around it any way you want. So you can go clockwise or anti-clockwise. You can change direction. Okay. Any throw. Any one of the 3 throws we've looked at already. Okay. 3, 1, 6, 8. Notice it's easy for me because I'm in the middle. All I'm doing is that pivot move. So I'm picking a number and then I'm trying to just pivot on that foot. Remember how we talked about a pivot? The foot is down on the floor, the heel comes up, and you pivot on your toes. Okay, so the person in the middle is trying to pivot. You can swap with your family member. So I'm going to give Miss Porter a little bit longer, and then we'll swap over. Okay, 8. Oh, you're there. 4, 2, 5. Okay, because we're now running and moving at the same time, it's easy to not be accurate with your passes. So Mrs. Porter and I were doing good, accurate passes. When you do this at home, it's easy to forget about that. So make sure your passes are good. You can't ask somebody to catch a ball when the pass is not very good. Our circle's quite small. Some days it's good to do a small circle, but you can always extend this circle. And the steps you're doing around the circle, keeping you active, keeping you fit. Okay, we'll swap over. 5. You know which way to go. 8. 3. 7. 6. 1. 4. 1. 3. Brilliant. Okay, we're just going to collect those cones in because I want to show you one more thing. But that would be something you could do over and over at home. And again, you don't need cones. You can just have paper numbers set up. That running game could be done with a football. So we were throwing the ball in. The person in the middle could be kicking the ball out each time when you get to the number. You could do it with football just as easily. Or you can do football one day, netball the next day. Okay, the other thing we want to look at is we've just done stationary passing, apart from our clock then. This time, Mrs. Porter's going to run out, turn, and on the way back in, I'm going to try and send a shoulder pass a little bit higher into the air. So she's going to jump, land her feet, pivot that way, pivot back to me, and then throw the ball to me. Okay?
Yeah.
So you're running out and in. And then up, jump, pivot that way, pivot back, brilliant, and out again. I'm going to go up, so she's got to jump to catch it, and whatever one she lands on, lovely pivot. And one more, out and in. I'm going to send it up, so she's got to jump, pivot, and see which Mrs. Porter's favourite foot is. And then we're going to swap. So we do 3, swap over. So if you've got someone at home, you're doing it with a brother or sister, they can do it. So I'm going out. So, and then whichever one you land on, you pivot, you can vary your pass back. Oh, sorry, Mrs. Thomas, it's all right. Good practice. And again, you can do that lots of times, vary it up. But all those exercises are so good to practice at home. But the clock one we did, have a go, even if you can video yourself doing it, send it into school, we'd love to see it. Again, you can do it with football if you'd rather, or with netball. Okay, from us, we'll see you soon. Come on, Star Bear, wave goodbye to the children.
Bye.
Bye everyone, see you soon.